Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Straight Line podcast. As always, my name is Jeremy Martins, and today, topic of discussion is the upcoming Amashova Classic, this Sunday the 22nd of October. A couple of interesting facts about this race. It is the longest standing one-day classic on the South African road cycling calendar. The race has got a pretty cool history. Started 1986, followed a pattern of a very similar route to what the Comrades Marathon did back in those days. Started outside the Maritzburg Town Hall, finishing outside the Durban Town Hall. But over the years, there's been a couple of tweaks to the route profile and the general route direction. We still start outside the Peter Maritzburg Town Hall, but now the finishing these days on NMR Drive, opposite the iconic Moses Mabhida Stadium. So Annie has kept the race going through some difficult times, but I think it definitely ranks up there as, I would say, within the top three races in the South African cycling calendar. You're looking at the Cape Town Cycle Tour, 94.7, and the Amashova. Those are your big three races on the South African calendar. Fun fact, interestingly, over the last 15 to 20 years, the race has been dominated by two riders. Between the two of them, they have won 13 editions. It is a 7-6 split. Let's see if any of you guys can pick it up. Write in the comments below, who do you think these two riders are? Both of them will be down in Durban this weekend. One riding, one supporting. Let's see if you guys can get this right. But on to the race. Route profile. From the beginning, you climb 15 Ks up to the top of Fox Hill. Not a very difficult climb, nice smooth road, quite wide, not too technical. The first 15 Ks in total elevation of 350 meters. Once you get to the top of Fox Hill, for the next, I would say 40 odd K, the route profile is generally going downhill, but that doesn't mean that it's all downhill. There's a couple of long drags there. Not too challenging or too technical, but if the wind does pick up and blow around there, you can have some gutter sections. I think that'll emphasize more towards the guys who race may use this to their advantage to try and split the race up. But typically, race stays together. Once you head up towards the 40-kilometer mark of 40 kilometers into the race, then you'll start your harder sections up to your Nagale Dam. There's a bit of a climb there, then you descend a little bit more, and then about 50 k's into the race, just over the halfway mark, then you start your first of the two climbs in succession. You're looking at Inchanga, again same as what Fox Hill is. It's not the most challenging climb you're going to find out there. The road surface is generally pretty good, nice and slick, twisty, turny, but I would classify it as a fast climb. For the guys who are riding the front, you're definitely going to be riding your 53.19 at the hardest parts, 53.17. It's pretty quick to get up and over that climb. Once you finish the descent of Inchanga, you will then go on to Botha's Hill. Now, for me, I feel this is probably the most dangerous and most difficult part of the race. The climb goes up in steps. You come down the descent, you go up and down, twisty, turny. There's a couple of steep sections in the middle of that climb. So I think the climbers and the stronger riders will be wanting to distance the sprinters from them on this part of the route, because once you go to the top of Botha's Hill, it's pretty much mostly downhill towards the finish. So if you don't get it, if you don't distance the sprinters, you don't put a big enough gap into them, I feel once you have Botha's Hill and the sprinters are 45 seconds behind you from the top of Botha's Hill to the finish, you're looking 40 Ks. And I think if a group is chasing behind to try and chase the guys in the front, that's more than enough time for them to get back. But let's get on to who I feel are going to be the protagonists of the race, the guys who are going to be wanting to force the issue, who I expect to see on the podium. First up, let's have a look at Team TEG. I think going into this race, their protected rider should definitely be Blaine Kick. He's shown lately he's on good form. He's had a couple of really good results. He ran third last weekend at the Free State Classic in a group sprint going to the line. Yeah, if the race does come down to some kind of a sprint from either a big bunch or a select group, I think the TG guys will want to look after him to try and get him near the front, because he's got a good shot of standing on the podium, possibly even pulling off the win. Then from riders in that team, I think we're going to be there to look after him or animate the race, looking at the likes of Jacques Janssen van Rensburg. Yeah, proven rider, very strong. He's got the ability to go long and go hard, especially on the climbs. Another rider in there, Brandon Downs. I've spoken about him quite a bit of late. Brandon, I talk you up all the time. I think you owe us being the bike racing community a good performance. Looking forward to what you can do on that circuit. Then another team to talk about here, Team Honeycomb. I think, from my perspective, I think they would want to follow a similar sort of pattern to what Team Honeycomb, to what Team TEG does. They got a sprinter, Jaden Turlot. He's proven the last while that he's definitely up for it. Always finishing up on the podium. I mean, at the Free State Classic last weekend in Welkom, he ran second place. So I would think from their side, you would look at your Jaco van Dijks to be around him on the climbs. Jason Eggert, I think that's the kind of rider that will be given hopefully a little bit of free rein, so he can open up his legs or go with the likes of Jacques Janssen van Rensburg and the Kent Mains if they do decide to put the pressure on going up Botha's Hill. I think when it comes down to it on the climbs, Jaden definitely will have the legs to go with them. Casper Creer is a rider who I would think would be given a job of looking after Jaden. If there is a split going to Botha's Hill, Jaden would want your Casper Krugers around him, your Jaco van Dijks, the guys who can pull long and hard to try and close the gap as quickly as what they can. So my call from Team Honeycomb is they will be looking for a bunch sprint with their sprinter Jaden Turlot. Next up, Team DMS. Now, these guys have got a two-pronged attack. Listening to what the guys are saying and looking at the performances. Kent Main, he's strong enough to ride away and win if the race is hard enough. And then if the race is hard, it comes down to a group sprint. You got Gustav Passon. He was the winner of the Free State Classic last weekend, and of late he's won a fair few bunch sprints going to the line, be it for intermediate sprints or hot spots along the way, or going for the win. Kent Main strong enough to ride away. I was talking to some of the guys earlier today, and a new catchphrase for these two guys: the terrible two. If it's a bunch sprint, Gustav is going to roll you. If it's a hard race, Kent's going to punish you and ride you into the ground, and he's going to win by himself. So yeah, the terrible two. These two guys have actually come a long way back. They've rode in Pro Touch together for many years. And Gustav's a little bit, no, they are the same age. I mean, I remember working with them back in a team 7-8 years ago. Yeah, these boys come a long way back. Very, very strong. So my prediction for what they're going to do on the race, I would think that they would want to also run for a bunch sprint or group sprint, and they would back Gustav for the win. But yeah, on the day, let's see what happens. Next up, Team Tufo BMC. There's a couple of riders here in this team that lately seem to be on the up. If I was involved in that team from tactics and a planning perspective, I would definitely put all my money on Eric Cross. Last weekend at the Free State Classic, or the Free State Challenge, he ran fourth on the race the following Sunday, the Meals and Wheels race. He ended up running third, but from what I saw at the races and what I heard, Eric was definitely on the go there. He was pushing it. His form is up. He's got good morale. So from my call, I expect to see Eric on the podium at the line, whether it's a bunch sprint, whether it's a group sprint. I'm calling Eric to be on the podium. What position? I'm not sure. I'll be able to tell you on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Then another strong rider in that team is Chris Jooster. I think I've said it over and over, when the racing gets hard and starts getting punchy, Chris is the kind of guy that's going to be up in the fight. He proved on Sunday at the Meals and Wheels race that he was up for the fight. He was right up there in the front on Suikerbos. you know, he was pulling big turns to look after Eric, and I would suspect a similar sort of pattern for Sunday at the Amashova Classic, but you never know. If you go, there's a big split going up Buerta's Hill. I expect him to be there. You know, if the likes of Kent Main really want to and put the pressure down going up there, I expect Kent to be up there. I expect Chris to be up there, Jason Eggerts of the world. And then of the climber guys that are there, I'm going to say Eric is probably the best, going the best on the climbs, or sorry, of the sprinters that are in the race. I would suggest that Eric is probably, out of all of them, climbing the best. So if there is a decent split going up either in Changa or Buerta's Hill, and the sprinters do get distanced, I would think that Eric would be in that front split. And then, going down to the line in a group of climbers, I'd back Eric all day, every day. So next team that I feature is Team Aluwani. Now they had a bit of a quieter start to the year, but in the last little while, Blue Diamond Classic, Reynard Butler won the opening stage. They defended the jersey for the next 2 days. Reynard just ran out of legs towards the end of that stage race. But I would definitely say, if it is a group sprint of 10 riders, I would say Butler is going to be up there. Definitely on the podium. Is he going to be on the top step? Speaking to some of the guys, a lot of the guys are saying that Reynard is the favorite for the race on Sunday, whether it's a bunch sprint or it's a group sprint. So Team Aluwani, they're kind of flying under the radar. Fortunately, they missed the race out in Valcom on Sunday. I would have thought that would have been a perfect race for them. Flat, fast, strong guys. I'm looking forward to Sunday. My call, Reynard Butler, 100% for sure on the podium. Then next up, the teams that are going to be looking to try and force the issue, force the splits, get into breaks. Office Guru, Josh Reeders, he is a local Durban boy. I do understand that he's gone down a bit earlier to Durban this week to scout out the route, have a look at the finish. I'm hoping that Josh can, it's a hometown race, hoping that he can get motivated and actually light it up and be a protagonist. Looking forward to see what he can do here. Then next team that I've highlighted here is Luso ACDC. You've got Josh Dyke there. I think if he plays his cards right, sits and waits for the right moment to expend his effort. I think if it comes down to a bunch sprint, I expect that he will be there. And in the bunch sprint, Josh comes from a good track background. He knows what to do. He knows how to handle himself. He's currently on relatively decent form. Just at the Meals on Wheels race on Sunday, I believe he had a bit of bad luck. And, things didn't work out that well. But hopefully on Sunday at the Amashova he can make things right. And I look forward to seeing what he can do when it comes down to that sprint. Another good ride. They've got a couple of good juniors on that team, the Landsberg brothers. I've been watching their trajectory over the last little while, and both of them seem to be on the up. And I expect definitely for the junior race, I expect them to be on the podium, possibly winning. Let's see how that thing pans out for them on Sunday. Then, dark horse for this race, Space's Master Power, Ruan Deploy. Now, he won the Criterium stage at the recent Blue Diamond Classic, or the Blue Diamond stage race. He knows his race very well. Always been up there, been a protagonist of the race. Another guy, if it comes down to a sprint, he could surprise guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets onto the podium. He's that type of rider. When it comes down to it, he can deliver. So, my call, your top contenders, I anticipate a sprint. Reynard Butler, Eric Cross, Blaine Kick, Jaden Turlo, Gustav Basson. Those I think are going to be your top 4 or 5 places. When it comes down to a sprint, I'll tell you on Sunday morning who's going to be on top. But I think Reynard Butler, that's my call. Next up, we go on to the ladies. Talking to Cindy Besaidenote, team manager of Customized Per Tech. Unfortunately, they've had a few a few issues this week, so they won't be down there as a full team. I believe Ainsley De Beer is going to be there representing him. Hopefully she can throw a span in the works of the Cycle Nation sandwich. But I think purely from a racing perspective, Cycle Nation would have to be the favourites. Carla Oberholzer and Joan van der Winkel. My prediction is they're going to run at least a first or second, and possibly a first, second, and third. But yeah, that's my call for the Amashova Classic. I look forward to watching it. Unfortunately, I won't be there at the race, via live stream, via Twitter. I'm looking forward to see what can happen, and I will chat to you guys in the next one. Cheers. Bye.